8:17 in the morning, Hacksaw and Company, San Diego sports leader, the mighty 1090. This is a $100 bill. It might have your name on it. Let's take the 10th caller. We're going to take the 10th caller on the Hacksaw Headline Hotline at 858-457-1090, 457-1090, or use the toll-free number 877-792-1090. 10th caller can win the $100 bill and qualify to go to the finals to win the $100,000 grand prize on the Real Money Run Back contest coming up in mid-November. Let's talk San Diego State football. Time to talk to the Aztecs head coach. Rocky Long is with us. This game against Fresno State, you emptied the playbook. Your guys played their guts out defensively, and you wound up losing to Fresno State. Heartbreaking, but I just thought it was a hell of a game, Rock.
Well, it was a great game, but we better put that one behind us and worry about the next one. Otherwise, one devastating loss leads to another one.
Well, Coach, does this game, give your team confidence? Do they feel like they can play with anybody at this point?
I don't think we've lacked for confidence all season long. I don't think that we've been able to consistently keep the intensity level up or the focus level up, whichever way you can describe it. But our team, I think, believes they can play with anybody, and at times we prove that we can. We just got to get over the hump where we beat the teams we're supposed to and beat the ones that we're not supposed to every once in a while.
Rocky, you knocked around Sean Mannion of Oregon State. Now, that's a first-round draft pick that came back and threw for 400 against you. You just utterly confused Derek Carr. He looked like he was lost out there, made him hold the ball, but then they made adjustments in the second half and started to throw flanker screens and throw hot read crossing routes, etc. How hard is it to make an adjustment in the middle of the game?
Well, it's almost impossible to make an adjustment on the sidelines. I mean, we don't have pro players that understand the game quite a bit as well. We have some very young guys playing, freshmen playing, so it's hard. It's not too bad at halftime, and I thought we had him confused all the way through the third quarter. In the fourth quarter, he's a great player. He's a great player, and he's going to be a top pro, I think. In the fourth quarter, I think he saw something that gave him a read on the snap of the ball, and he started hitting some plays that he hadn't hit all day long, and that brought him back. Now, our team came back dramatically and actually had a legitimate chance to win the game.
Very much so. We're talking football. Rocky Long talked to the Aztecs here on San Diego Sports Leader, the mighty 1090.
It seems like the kicking game has struggled a little bit. How do you fix that one?
Well, I don't know. I think it's all. I think we have good kickers. I think that their technique is flawed at times, but I think it's a confidence level. That's where I think the rest of the team is confident in their ability. I don't think our kickers are. Now, in the game, I thought because of the onside kick, I thought our kicker was ready to make the game-winning field goal because that's as good an onside kick as I've ever seen. So they're like every other player on their team. We have guys that make mistakes. We have quarterbacks that throw interceptions. We got DBs that get beat deep for touchdowns. You just keep working with them and keep pumping them up and keep working on their technique and fundamentals, and the next time they're going to make it and you're going to win the game.
I want to ask you about what happened at the end of the game. You had two quarterback kneel downs, which meant your kicker was going to probably wind up having to attempt something from 40 yards. When you got Moema, why would you not, and I know you don't want to take the ball off the line of scrimmage, but why wouldn't you run him, see if he can power and get you 10 yards closer, which would have made that kick maybe a little bit easier?
Well, you always worry about a fumble. You always worry about putting the ball on the ground. Even the snap from center is a little shaky when you're taking a knee. The reason we took two knees is because we took a knee, we're going to let the clock run down to 3 seconds. They took a timeout. I don't understand why they took a timeout with 12 seconds left, but they took a timeout. So we snapped the ball one more time so that we could get it down to 3 seconds. So it was the last play of the game. I had confidence we were going to make the field goal. He makes them from over 50 yards in practice. It wasn't that long a field goal. If he'd have got it up, it probably was good. He hit it low, and they did a great job of jumping and blocking it.
Are you surprised at how well Zell Ruffin has played?
No, not really. I mean, he's been a long-time project. That's proof that there are coaches out there that demand certain things and teach the right technique, and a player with athletic ability who isn't very good at that position when he first started develops in your program and becomes a really good player. Now, I think that he has developed into a really good receiver. He's just scratching the surface. He has a chance to be one of the best receivers in school history if he continues at this pace.
Rocky Long talked to the Aztecs. Here comes New Mexico Saturday night. He's with us here on the Mighty 1090. So how would you describe what Bob Davie is running? Is it veer? Is it true option? Is it wishbone? What are they doing?
It's more like the wishbone. It's triple option out of the pistol. So the ride with the tailback is a little bit longer, so he has a little bit better read. They can give you all kinds of different formations. They can give you all kinds of motions. They send guys in motions and become the pitch back. It's really confusing in practice. When you watch it, the scout team run it, it's very, very confusing, and I'm sure they run it better than our scout team does. I mean, it's what makes college football exciting. I mean, it makes it stressful on coaches, but it makes it exciting for fans. One week you're playing a team that's going to throw it 80 times and, really doesn't want to run it. Now we're going to play a team that's going to try to run it 80 times and really doesn't want to throw it.
Are you really surprised that they run this type of offense in such a throwing / high-scoring league?
No, I think it's going back to the academies. I think they started with a team that they thought didn't have the athletic ability as the teams they were playing. The triple option really evens out talent level. You can keep the ball away from other teams if you can continually get first downs. I think they're third in the country in rushing offense, 334 yards a game in rushing offense. You keep the other team's offense off the field because you run the clock. I mean, I think it's a great idea when you think you don't have the talent level of the other team.
Yeah, you always were old school. You probably got a black and white TV at home, too.
I do.
Hey, Rocky, because you had success in Albuquerque, but in the big picture of things, how hard is it to win at New Mexico and New Mexico State? I mean, there might be one or two Division I kids in the state. How do you get competitive? Because the Lobos have really had a tough time, and the poor New Mexico State Aggies have just been down since the Warren Woodson era.
The biggest problem is recruiting. As you say, there's not enough talent in the nearby areas, so you don't get a lot of kids close to home. So you have to expand your recruiting areas, and when you expand your recruiting areas, you have to, fight with the guys at the ones or twos or threes. It comes down to evaluation. We have a little bit of the same problem here. We got a great population, but we're fighting the Pac-12 and everybody else in the country for players. So it's all about evaluation. So you go to media centers. In their case, they go to Houston and Dallas and those kind of places, and then you evaluate. And if you evaluate right, you can recruit players that can play. If you don't evaluate right, you're out of there in 3 years.
Coach, how confident are you about these last 5 games?
Well, right now I'm confident. Our players practiced very hard this week, but there wasn't the same energy in practice as there was last week. Now, that doesn't mean they're not getting ready to play, but I have concerns of a lingering effect off of last week's game. If we can get by this one, if we can play well enough to win this one, I think we're going to win the rest of them.
But Rocky, good to talk to you. Good luck against New Mexico. This will be different because they really are different, but then so again are you with all the junk you're throwing at people with your defense. Thanks again for being with us.
Appreciate it, guys. Thanks.